Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video, and if you guys are massive fans of the AFL, you know that today the night of nights. It is Brownlow Medal night. Brownlow Medal night tonight. And I and in this video I'm going to preview and also give my predictions into who will win the count tonight. There's plenty of contenders obviously that will take Charlie home. Take Charlie home tonight. Obviously you got Cripps, you got Dacos, you got the Bont, you got Neil, so on and loads more that could possibly take home to Charlie tonight. So the order in this video obviously is first I'll do club by club pretty much. So who's the best chances for Adelaide? Who's going to be the one vote wonders? You know, who's going to be eligible, ineligible, I should say, for the Brownlow this year. And then the second part I'll do the Brownlow predictor and do what the AFL.com.au's Brownlow predictor has said. And then I'll give my predictions and the reasons why I believe that player or maybe players might win the Brownlow. Who knows? Anyway, so I'll go through 18 clubs here. So first off, we've got Adelaide. So obviously, and I'll also go for the previous winners as well. The previous winner for Adelaide of the Brownlow medal is, of course, Mark Rasciuto. Of course, that freeway tie in 2003 with him, Goods, and Buckley in 2003. There's only two players that are ineligible for Adelaide, and they are Matt Crouch and Isaac Rankin. So the best chance. So I'm reading this off of faithful.com.au's article here, a bit from the club by club guide here, and Jordan Dawson is there. I agree. I think he's had another consistent year for the Adelaide Crows. You know, he's had very good performances. Like in amongst them, of course, in the win, of course, he had 32 touches and 2 goals against the West Coast, and then of course 27 touches and a goal against the Bulldogs, which will definitely put him in maybe either the 3 or the 2 votes in those 2 games. But I think Rankin, I think he'll poll high. I think he'll poll not as high, but not as high, but still maybe somewhere in double figures maybe. The one vote wonder they picked is Tex Walker's performance in round 5 against Carlton, where he had 14 touches, 10 marks, and 4 goals. He might get it. I'm very tempted to put him in the 2 vote. That's definitely not good enough to give 3 votes. I think maybe 2 votes. 2 votes there. I won't be surprised, but I won't be surprised if he gets the solitary vote for that. There. 53 predicted team votes, 53 votes for Adelaide. So not bad there. Next team, Brisbane. Not surprisingly, Lachie Neale. Not surprisingly, is their best chance. Best chance there. Of course, is he gonna? It would be William Munster, one of the best of the best, pretty much with 3 Brownlow medals, make it back to back as well. It says that he's had 20 disposals in all bar one game this season. He's led in clearances, and all that, and I presume that guys such as Zorko, McCluggage, Dunkley, all these guys will probably definitely will take votes off Lockie Neal, but I think he'll poll very, very high. I think he'll be up there in amongst the favourites to take Charlie home tonight. And it says he would become the 5th man in history to take 3 Brownlow medals in his career. The one vote wonder, it has to be, it says here Charlie Cameron for his round 5 performance against Melbourne, where he had 17 touches, 9 marks, and 3 goals. It said maybe he might poll 2 votes. I don't think he'll poll 3, but maybe 2, or 1, something like that. I think for me in that one, 88 predicted team votes, which is very high there. About a third of them probably will be from Lockie Neal, probably, I presume. Of course, Lockie Neal's 31 votes last year was enough to was enough to win him winning the Brownlow last year. Let's see if he makes it back to back. The only player for Brisbane that is ineligible to win it, well, he wouldn't win it anyways, but anyway, is Eric Hipwood. And the previous winners, they've had so many winners combined between Fitzroy and as the Brisbane Lions and Brisbane Bears and Lions. So Hayden Button Senior, obviously, I think becoming the first ever player to win three Brownlow medals. Maybe Lockie Neal might join that very elite group tonight. Wilfred Smallhorn in 1933, Dennis Ryan in 1936, Alan Ruven in 1950, I think I got that right. Kevin Bulldog Murray in 1969, Bernie Quinlan in 1981 in that tie with Barry Round in 1981. I think that was when the league back in the VFL back then decided to scrap the old countback system that they had. So yeah, Michael Voss again in a tie with James Hurd. Originally it was a 3-way tie, but actually 2 won the Brownlow in Vossi and Hurdy because Corey McKernan was the 3rd player that was deadlocked on 21 votes with them, but he was ineligible to win because of suspension. So yeah, of course, Jason Ackermanis in 2000, back-to-back. First one of the back-to-back for 01, and then the next year Simon Black won in 2002. Lockie Neal, and then of course recently Lockie Neal won in the pandemic-affected 2020 season, and 2023, at least 2023, he was able to get someone else to put the Charlie around his neck this time instead of putting him on himself. So yeah. Carlton, their best chance, obviously, not surprisingly, is Patrick Cripps. I mean, I think for me, consider him as the favourite to win it because he's had an unbelievable season. There's so many times there where he put the whole Carlton team on his back and won them games for them. And I think he is the favourite to win a second Brownlow medal, become a dual Brownlow medalist, for sure. The one vote wonder, it is Brody Kemp for his round 23 performance against West Coast. Of course, that performance where he had 12 touches, 6 marks, 5 tackles, and kicked 4 goals. In a forward line that had no Kerno and no Mackay. So pretty much, yeah. So I think for me, I think definitely he'll get one vote in this game. I think definitely Patrick Cripps will get 3 votes for sure in that one, there. Of course, Patrick Cripps most votes last year were 22. 2 players ineligible, and again they're not going to win it anyways. That is Lockie Fogarty and Matthew Owies. Predicted team votes 80. So again, a third of them will come from Cripps, but a lot of it will probably come from Sam Walsh and Charlie Curnow and all that. So all those guys. So yeah. Previous winners: Bert Deacon in 1947, John James in 1961, Gordon Collis in 1964, Greg Diesel Williams in 1994, Chris Judd in 2010, and of course Cripper won it in 2022, and hopefully becoming a dual Brown, as I said, becoming a dual Brownlow medalist. So yeah. Moving on to Collingwood, not surprisingly, their best chance is Nick Dacos. Nothing else can be said about the young superstar. He's for the last couple of years he's been insane. I think that late season injury that he had last year, I believe it's, if he hadn't had that, probably he hadn't had the season that he's had now. Some people might say he hasn't had the consistent year that he had in most of last year, but still, I mean, it was like, I think it was like Cripps, where he put his team on his back and did some unforgettable match-winning performances. I mean, he was able to go into the midfield this year, go forward, kick goals, hit the scoreboard on a regular basis. Unbelievable, really, and he's obviously one of the leading disposal getters for the AFL in AFL competition, and also very damaging when he gets forward and kicks goals, as I said. And there's a high chance that he might win his first Brownlow medal at 21. That is pretty insane there. One vote wonder, I think it says here, Will Hoskin Elliott for his performance in round 6 against Port Adelaide, where he got 21 touches, 9 marks, and kicked 2 goals. I think definitely he'll get one vote in that game there. But yeah. So yeah, predicted team votes only 69 for Collingwood, half of it from Nick Dacos. Not surprising there. But I think for me, looking at Carlton here, you know, there could be a chance that maybe Walsh might take a couple of votes off him, so too does Curnow. But Curnow missed the back end of the season, and Walsh missed, I think, a bit of the first half of the season. So maybe that's where maybe he can get his advantage from. Quite possibly, I don't know, but comparing that to Nick Dacos, I believe there's not much players that will probably take votes off him. That is the thing. So yeah, of course, Nick Dacos, obviously 28 votes last year. One player that is currently ineligible, which is Lockie Schultz. And of course, their previous winners, of course, Sid Coventry in 1927, Albert Collier in 1929, Harry Collier in 1930, Marcus Whelan in 1939, Des Fothergill in 1940, Len Thompson 1972, Peter Moore, of course his son Darcy captains the team now, won in 1979. Nathan Buckley again in that freeway tie in 2003, and Swanee in 2011. So that is Collingwood. Now, on to my boys, Essendon. Of course, the best chance is our skipper, Zach Merritt. I think. I don't think he'll. It says here he's an outside chance. I definitely agree with that. I think he's not going to win it but I think he'll challenge towards the middle part of the year. But he did drop off a little bit in the back half of the year when Essendon's form nosedived at the back end of the season again. So yeah, like there's certain games, like for example Anzac Day, he'll probably poll the free votes because obviously on the Anzac Day medal in that game. Very rare that someone wins the Anzac Day medal and doesn't get the free votes. He'll get the free votes in that one. The Richmond Dreamtime, I think he'll that, and then West Coast, which was the game. I think it's here. I think it was over here or over there in the West. I think he'll get free votes in that game too. There. The one vote wonder, Archie Perkins for his open for round one performance against Hawthorn. This finally could be the year. He hasn't polled a Brownlow medal vote yet in his career. This could be the chance for that tonight. I mean, these stats are ridiculous. Surely, I mean, maybe he might get this. Probably the first one vote wonder where he could be the chance of getting all three. It says he actually expect a vote if not three. So maybe the three Brownlow votes in that game because he was best on ground in that game. With these statistics, 24 touches, 8 clearances, 12 tackles, and 2 goals. So there might be the chance that he might get this. It brings the first one vote wonder where there could be the possibility he could get three Brownlow votes in that game there. Predicted Brownlow votes, predicted votes for the team 69. Again, the same thing with Collingwood. Ineligible, not surprising, it's Mason Redman, Peter 2 meter Peter Wright, and Harrison Jones. The previous winners were Dick Reynolds in 34, 37, and 38. Still holds the record for the youngest for the youngest ever win a Brownlow medal. I think it's at 17 or 19, I believe it was. I remember rightly. Bill Hutchison in 1952 and 53. But that one, 1952 was a tie with Roy Wright, but originally back then it was on a countback system. Roy Wright ended up winning the Brownlow, but retrospectively they ended up winning it in 1952. Graham Moss in 1976, that was the final year with him being at Essendon before going back to Western Australia the next year. Gavin Wanganeen in 1993, just a fantastic year that year, to be honest. Nothing else said really. And as I said earlier about Michael Voss, James Hird winning it alongside Vossi in 1996. So I think for me, as I said, I think Merritt does have an outside chance, but I think his back half of the year is. I don't think he'll get much votes the back half of the year. That is my grave concern really on that front. Moving on to Fremantle. They got you got the likes of Caleb Sarong. You got the best chance for them being Caleb Sarong. I know he's got your Andy Brayshaw and Hayden Young to take votes off him, but I think he's the credible chance. I think it's same as Merritt. I believe he might be an outside chance, but I think he'll poll very high in the votes this year again. And also some very good performances too, especially in round one where he had 44 touches. That was absolutely insane. I think he'll definitely get 3 Brownlow votes in that one. 2. The one vote wonder is Michael Walters for his round 3 performance against Adelaide, where he had 21 touches, 8 marks, and 2 goals. So maybe, because he hasn't polled a Brownlow vote since 2020, so maybe he could break that drought tonight. Predicted votes 81 for Fremantle, which is quite high as well. Ineligible is Nat Fife and Tom Emmett. And the previous winner of the Brownlow medal is Nat Fife, winning it in 2015 and 2019. So yeah. So as I said, I think Sarong might poll high, but I think Brayshaw and Young will definitely take votes off him, as I said there. Geelong, moving on to Geelong, the Catters. Their best chance, I agree with this, is Jeremy Cameron. He's kicked, bags of hauls. He kicked 9 goals in the final game against West Coast, kicked 6 against North and Adelaide, and kicked 5 against Carlton. So that's 4 big hauls through this season, which means they might be enough. Excuse me. To get free Brownlow votes, which would be 3, 6, 9, 12. So that'll be 12 votes there for those games. There, but I don't think he'll be a contender. There's not highly doubt he'll be a contender there. Contender there. One vote wonder. I think it says here it will be probably will be Zach Guthrie for his round 8 performance against Melbourne, where he got 24 touches, 9 marks, and 8 goals. So surely, and he hasn't polled a Brownlow medal vote yet. Excuse me. In his career. So maybe this will be the night he gets his first Brownlow medal vote there. Printed votes for the team, 73. Ineligible are Mark Blitzarves and Jai Clark. The previous winners are Edward Graves, who was the winner of the first Brownlow medal in 1924, Bernie Smith in 1951, Alistair Lord in 1962, Paul Couch in 1989, Jimmy Bartell in 2007, Gary Ablett in 2009, and Paddy Dangerfield in 2016. So highly unlikely anybody's going to add to those names, but we'll love to see them try anyways there. Moving on to the Gold Coast Suns, their best chance definitely is Noah Anderson. I think for me, I think it's highly doubt that he's going to be a contender. Because there's going to be guys like Rao, Rao, Miller, Flanders. All these guys will definitely take votes off him. Take some votes off him, but there's some games where he definitely is expected to get 3 votes in games. So I think he'll poll high. Excuse me. I don't think he'll poll like he did last year with 22 votes, but I think he'll get close to it there. The one vote wonder definitely will be Mac Andrew for his round 22 performance against Essendon. Don't remind me about that game. I mean, of course, 4 goals, 13 touches, 5 marks. I think that could be the moment where he will get his first a Brownlow vote, definitely. But there might be other games which you'll get votes in, definitely. There, definitely there. Breeder votes, 67. There, ineligible are of course Marco Nilsson, and Alex Davies, and the previous winner of the medal is of course Gary Ablett, when he won it in 2013. GWS who have never had a Brownlow medalist, never had a Brownlow medalist. Probably that will continue this year, but Tom Green will definitely give it a good crack. He's definitely been the premier leader in terms of that midfield for GWS. I think, but there's going to be others that would say Brownlow medal votes off him. I mean, guys like Lockie Whitfield, Jesse Hogan. Obviously, I would expect Jesse Hogan to poll high as well, being the Coleman medalist. So I think he will definitely, he'll definitely have that in store, definitely. One vote wonder, definitely be Callum Brown. For his round 0 performance against Collingwood, when he kicked 5 goals from 11 touches and 7 marks. He only has one free vote game back in 2022, and this could be the chance for him to get that second. I think there's 2 currently right now. That him is the first one, and then of course Archie Perkins being the second one. That might one of the one vote wonders that might get free vote. It might get free votes in a game there. Breeder votes 82, which is quite high. There, 3 players that are currently ineligible, that being Toby Green, Callum Brown, and Lockie Astor. We said about Callum Brown a moment ago that he's ineligible anyways, but we can't wait to see him. To have that. Anyways, Hawthorn, the very happy team at Hawthorn after their season that they've had. Not surprisingly, John Newcomb has been touted to be Hawthorn's best chance. He had his career best year last year with 18 votes. Last season. Could there be the possibility that he might maybe beat that? I'm still at 50-50 on that, because there will be guys like Moore, Warple, Day, all those guys that might potentially take votes off him. Excuse me, but I think for me, I believe he will be the consistent. I think he's had another consistent season, and I think he'll poll very well in the medal tally. In the count. The 1 vote wonder, Connor McDonald, for his performance against Adelaide in round 20. He finished off with 28 touches and 2 goals. I think definitely that he will, he'll definitely, and I won't be surprised if, especially in the first half of the season, that they will. It says to predict 82 votes, but I won't be surprised if most of those votes will come at the back half of the season, where they really did turn it on in the second half of the season. I won't be surprised by that. But yeah. So the two guys that are ineligible are Marbior Chow and Jack Scrimshaw. The previous winners for Hawthorn are Cole Austin in 1949, Robert Di-Domenico in 1986, a part of that tie with Diesel Williams, I believe it was. Yeah, with Diesel Williams. The next year, John Platt in another tie, this time with Plugger Lockett. Shane Crawford in 1999. That was the year where the celebration, where the count was transferred from Melbourne to Sydney. I think that's the only time I think it's happened. Sam Mitchell in 2012, because obviously Joe Watson won it, and obviously he took it back, and obviously Sam Mitchell and Trent Cotchin inherited the medal, and another Mitchell and Tom in 2018. That is the most recent one there. For Melbourne, moving on to Melbourne, surprisingly enough, their best chance is Christian Petrarca, even though he only played only like 12 games. I mean, of course, he suffered that injury against Collingwood on King's birthday, obviously with his ribs, and it's all publicised what happened afterwards. But I think for me, I'm very surprised that it's named Petrarca in there. But there were specific games during the year, like for example the Bulldogs, Hawks, and Adelaide, where he would probably poll 3 votes in those games too. So there might be a chance for that there. The 1 vote wonder is Daniel Turner in the round 7 game against Richmond on Anzac Eve, of course, in a performance where he kicked 3 goals, kicked 3 goals from 13 touches and 8 marks. Predictive votes 62, not surprisingly, considering Petrarca missed most of the season anyways, and probably because of their performances, probably not many people vote big. But the only one that is ineligible is Cozzy Pickett. He's the only one for Melbourne that is ineligible to win it. He won't win it anyways. But there, the previous winners for Melbourne, Ivor Warne-Smith in 1926 and 28, Dr. Don Cordner in 1946. Brian Wilson in 1982, Peter Moore again, this time with Melbourne in 1984, Dublin Jim Steins in 1991, and Shane Woden in the year 2000. Very interesting year, that one. That was the year that Essendon won the flag, and someone in this room right now was born that year. Don't know who it is, but I've heard that. But I've heard many things about him. So next up, North Melbourne. They probably won't vote as much. Say predicted votes 38. There. The best chance, Harry Sheezel. And I think he's fast becoming a really consistent, player, really in the AFL. Probably one, if not the most consistent player. I mean, some of the performances that he'll get 3 Brownlow votes in. Like of course, games against the Gold Coast Suns, against West Coast, and of course Richmond as well. But it says here he'll be a Brownlow contender in years to come. So, future Brownlow medalist right there. 1 vote wonder, round 2. That will be Tom Powell in the round 2 match against Fremantle. In a performance where he got 28 touches, 8 clearances, 5 tackles, and 2 goals. So probably he'll most likely get his first Brownlow vote in that with that performance, most likely. I said 38 predicted votes. Melbourne North didn't win that much, so let's move on from that. Really, Callan Dawson is the only ineligible player for North Melbourne, and their previous winners, of course, Noel Teasdale in 1965. Keith Gregg in both 73 and 74. Both times he polled 27 votes, which actually was his number at North Melbourne. So very good there. Malcolm Blight in 1978 and Ross Glendinning in 1983. So highly unlikely a modern player will add to those group of legends, but yeah. So hopefully we'll have someone. Hopefully Sheezel will join them in years to come. Port Adelaide, not surprisingly, their best chance is Zach Butters. I was surprised considering that maybe could have considered maybe someone like Connor Rhodes Z, maybe Jason Horne-Francis, but I think Horne-Francis had a bit hasn't had that much consistency. He's had a good season, but not as good really as this really. But yeah, of course, Butters, last year racked up a massive amount of votes, 27 votes. There, I think he was leading the count at one stage, one way or another, because he had that massive run of form throughout the middle part of the year when Port Adelaide were on that unbelievable winning streak as well. But yeah, but I think guys like like JHF will definitely take votes off him. Wines as well, Rosie as well. So yeah, there. The one vote wonder, Jace Burgoyne in the round 7 match against St Kilda. I mean, he's really He really is proven in the final series that he really is a really good finals player. I think for me, he was best on ground in the game against Hawthorn a few weeks ago, definitely. But yeah. But moving on to of course, the Brownlow. Of course, his father, Peter, obviously, he amassed, obviously, a lot of votes, Brownlow votes during his time in his playing career, but now that's been handed over to his son, Jace. Of course, this performance obviously had 27 touches, 8 marks, and 5 clearances. So he'll definitely maybe pull a vote there in that game. 85 predicted votes for Port Adelaide, which is very high there. Ineligible, the 2 players ineligible are Mitch Georgiades and Dan Houston. And the previous winner for Port Adelaide in terms of the Brownlow is Ollie Wines in 2021. Richmond, the Wooden Spooners, not surprisingly, predicted 30 votes, not going to poll much there. Best chance, Tim Taranto, which I'm quite surprised by. I thought they would have considered maybe Shea Bolton in that. Apologies guys for that. Moving the camera. Yeah, there we go. So pretty much. Let me just adjust the camera. Oh, don't fall down. There we go. So I thought they would have predicted maybe someone like Daniel Rioli, maybe Shea Bolton, but no Tim Taranto there as well. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a big one there, but I think definitely Taranto will snag a few votes in this season. Definitely, I mean the two wins that that Richmond had this year against Sydney and Adelaide. In Sydney, he had 35 touches and a goal, and against Adelaide, he had 26 and 6 clearances. So he'll definitely poll high there on that front. One vote wonder, and you wouldn't have guessed that this guy being a one vote wonder about. 1 vote wonder 7 years ago when he dominantly won the Brownlow medal, that being Dustin Martin, for his performance at Dreamtime of the G against Essendon. I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does, to be honest, because he was great. And I watched that game, and he was great. He was great in that game, winding back the clock a fair few times, and yeah. So of course he finished that day with 23 touches and a goal. So I wouldn't be surprised that game will probably be the last time that D. Martin will get called out at the Brownlow medal count. Of course, the only player that's ineligible is Liam Baker. The previous winners, of course, you have Stan Junkins in 1930, Bill Morris in 1948, Roy Wright in 52 and 54. In 52, he won it on a countback. Ian Stewart in 1971, Trek Cotchin again 2012. Enough said there. And the most recent one, of course, I said Dustin Martin in 2017, in the year when he won the premiership as well, and won the Norm Smith as well. So let's say 30 votes, not nothing much really. They're just Richmond players probably just gonna be there just there for the beers pretty much. So yeah, not surprising there. St Kilda, probably staying with them as well. I think it says here best chance is Rowan Marshall. I think you'll get a massive amount of votes, I believe. For me, I think I know guys like Sinclair and Steele might steal a few votes from Rowan, but he's had a pretty consistent year, and he's added scoring scoreboard prowess to his game. I think he's gone forward more. He's kicked goals and it's proven to be a very influential player for St Kilda, and a big match winner and a big ball winner as well. If you think about it too, I think he's a lot of times where he's had 20 touches as well. The one vote wonder I think it says here will be Darcy Wilson for his round 8 performance against North Melbourne, where he got 21 touches, 8 marks, and 3 goals. There probably will get the one vote in that game, most likely there as well. Predicted team votes 65, so not as high, but around the middle part there. 3 players ineligible for St Kilda, and that is Max King, Marcus Winhager, and Jack Higgins. And the previous winners, of course, there's follows: Colin Watson in 1925, Brian Gleeson in 1957, Neil Roberts in 1958. Vernon Howe in 1959, Ian Stewart in 1965 and 66, Ross Smith in 1967, and then Tony Lockett, of course, in that tie with Platten in 1987, and then most recent ones were Rob Harvey in 97 and 98. Obviously, 97 controversial, obviously, because Chris Grant, polled the most votes, but of course he was ineligible due to suspension, which left Rob Harvey to win it, and then which left controversy there. But there was no controversy the next year when he absolutely destroyed everyone to win the 98 medal. 32 votes over 14 games, I believe he played, which is ridiculous. Absolute ridiculous amount there. I'm going to do some quick maths here. Which is on average 2.2 votes a game during that season, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, really. There for them. Obviously, I've already mentioned Brisbane. Obviously, with the grand final, of course, their opponent Sydney. Their best chance to win, most definitely, is Errol Gulden. It could have been Isaac Heaney, but if it wasn't for I still say ridiculous suspension, because basically slapped. Who was it? Who was it? I had the name, but then it popped out again. Webster, that's the one. Jimmy Webster slapped him across the face. Got him a week's suspension, and Webster didn't even play the next week. Played the next week. So that was a bit. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. It's not good slapping someone in the face, but when it didn't involve someone getting knocked out or getting concussed, then I think you probably but let's not get to that. So of course, Goulden, of course, he's another one that's had a consistent year. Obviously, hopefully to back up. Obviously, last year when he had 27 votes last year. The one vote wonder, definitely this performance will definitely have the 3 Brownlow votes in it, which was Joel Marty back in round 14 against Adelaide, where he had the 9-goal performance from 10 kicks, also 7 marks and 6 tackles as well on that night as well. So definitely I think this will definitely be a free voter, definitely for Joel Marty. If he doesn't get the 3 Brownlow votes in this game, for a guy to kick 9 goals, something has to be wrong with the count, definitely. Printed Brownlow votes 102. I think that was at the top, I believe, for the most amount of printed votes for a team. The big ineligible one in this one being the only ineligible one being the big one in Isaac Heaney. He definitely could have been a contender, definitely for the Brownlow, but unfortunately he was suspended. The previous winners follows, obviously. Herbie Matthews in 1940, Ron Clegg in 1949, Freddie Goldsmith in 1955, Bobby Skilton in 59, 63 and 68, Peter Bedford in 1970s, these were all when there was South Melbourne, by the way, Graham Teasdale in 1977, Barry Round, the last South Melbourne player, last time the South Melbourne player won before they switched to Sydney in 1981. Next year they switched to Sydney. Greg Diesel Williams in 1986. That was in that tie with Dipper. Jared Healy in 1988. Paul Kelly in 1995, and the recent player to win it was Alan Goods twice in 2003 and 2006. I mean, 2003 I think he won as a ruckman, I believe, and then 2006 as a midfielder, I believe. So I think there's a high chance maybe there's a high chance that's something that a player recently. I think definitely Heaney, despite him being ineligible, but Heaney, Goulden, Warner, the Chad, those three will definitely get take Brownlow and medal votes up each other. Which causes the massive 102 printed team votes, and it's going to be enormous there. Final 2 teams, West Coast. Not much votes there, 28. I think it's the least amount. Not surprisingly enough, there. It won't be a busy night for West Coast. So just the same for North Melbourne and Richmond. Probably their players just gonna be there, but they're just be there for the beers, pretty much. For the beer and the company. Pretty much, I think Yo he'll poll high. I think he definitely had. I think those 2 performances against Richmond and Fremantle in the first showdown. I think I remember rightly. Yeah, the first showdown. I think he will definitely. I think Harley Reid probably would have been up there for the top top votes for most votes in West Coast for the club. In his first year, but of course being ineligible, obviously due to being suspended early in the year. So it definitely have to be Elliot Yeo there. The 1 vote wonder, Oscar Allen. With that performance of 5 goals from 14 touches and 5 marks. To inspire that massive comeback where they were like 23 points with 4 minutes left or something like that, and then we came back and won the game. A lot of players ineligible here. I think it's the most with 4. Tom Barrass, Harley Reid, obviously highly publicised as well. Jack Hutchison and Jack Petrocelli, and the 3 previous winners were Chris Judd in 2000, back-to-back Chris Judd in 2004, Ben Cousins in 2005, and Matt Prentice in that massive upset in 2014. And last but not least, the Sons of the West, the Western Bulldogs. Not surprisingly, their best chance, not surprisingly, is the Marcus Bontempelli. Could it be the year? I think he'll be up there again, surely, definitely. He'll be up there again with amongst them amongst them again. I mean, consistent talent. I mean, these were in the last 4 seasons. He's had 33 votes, 29, 22, and 21. And more than likely, he'll get into 20, up over 20 votes again this year. More and more likely there, and yeah, but there probably will be. There probably might be, there might be a few players that might take votes off him, like Treloar, Tom Liberatore, Ed Richards. It might take a vote or two off him as well. Even some that are ineligible as well, like Sam Darcy, that might take votes off him too. But yeah, I mean, 88 team votes. That's pretty high there. So yeah, one vote wonder. Definitely with Rory Lobb for his round 16 performance against North Melbourne. Of course, for his performance of 16 touches, 8 marks, and 12 intercept possessions. So yeah, so pretty good there. And the previous winners for the Brownlow medal for the Bulldogs / Footscray were Alan Hopkins in 1930, Norman Ware in 1941, Peter Box in 1956, John Schultz in 1960, Gary Dempsey in 1975, Kelvin Templeton in 1980. He was the first key forward that year to win the Brownlow medal. Brad Hardy in 1985, Tony Liberatore in 1990, Scotty Wine in 1992. By the way, I think I was about to say the most recent ruckman to win the Brownlow medal, but I forgot Adam Goods in 2003. And Adam Cooney, who is currently, and he's been saying that for all his life, over and over again, the only number 1 pick to win the Brownlow medal. And this stage the only time that the only current Western Bulldogs to Brownlow medal in the current era, obviously, of Western Bulldogs. Obviously, the rest of them have been Wendell and named Footscray. So that is pretty much the club by club thing over here. So now I'll get into what the Brownlow predictor said for AFL.com.au. So I'll go to his, have it in. So I'll go to first lead after round 6, which is probably the first round where all teams, where it's all even pretty much in terms of the ladder there. Not surprisingly, Heaney and Connor Rozee at the top with 12 votes each. With Patrick Cripps, Matt Rowell, and Christian Petrarca rounding out the top 5, with Christian Petrarca being on 8 votes. Then a few weeks later, after round 10, it's predicting the Brownlow predictor is predicting a big lead by round 10 for Isaac Heaney, 22 votes ahead of Zach Butters on 14 votes. With Patrick Cripps behind him on 13, and it's the three-way tie on 12 votes between Matt Rowell, Connor Rozee, and Caleb Sarong. And then it closes back up by the 15th round with Isaac Heaney getting 22 votes. As you can see there, no votes between rounds 11 and 15. Patrick Cripps on 19. Closing in by 3. Errol Goulden on 18. Nick Dacos on 17. Chad Warner and Zach Merritt both on 16 votes. And to the very end, here. Shockingly, the Brownlow predictor is predicting a tie for the first time since that year in 2003 when Rashudo, Goods, and Buckley won it. With them predicting them to be both polling 33 votes each. Lockie Neal, a vote behind them on 32 votes. Marcus Bontempelli and Errol Goulden, Marcus Bontempelli, Errol Goulden, and Isaac Heaney, both on 26 votes each. And then to rounded out is Zach Merritt on 25. Highly doubt he'll get that, but you never know. There, but remember, take this with a pinch of salt, guys. This is the predictor that was being predicted by AFL.com.au. So take it with a pinch of salt, really. There, the most votes in the last 8 rounds. Lockie Neal with 15 votes. Nick Dacos with 14. Patrick Cripps and Tom Green with 11 each, and two surprising ones: Roland Marshall and Jesse Hogan. 10. They're predicted to get 10 votes in the last 8 rounds. Very surprising. There. The most free vote games. Not surprisingly, Nick Dacos and Patrick Cripps are at the top. Nick Dacos with 8. Cripps and Neal with 7 free voters each. And Isaac Heaney and Tom Green with 6 each. The most games polled, Patrick Cripps with 15, Lockie Neal with 14, Zach Merritt with 14, Nick Dacos with only 13 votes polled, which is surprising. Errol Goulden with 13, that's also surprising. And Caleb Sarong, again, also surprising there as well. The highest voting for a first year player, not surprisingly, Harley Reid by a fair way. Let's not get into that. Highest polling for former Brownlow medalist. Again, the top of them will be Cripps and Neal. Others just just make up the numbers really. There. So that is obviously the So that was what AFL.com.au predicted. Apologies again for bumping the camera. So finally, I'll get to my predictions here. I think for me, my prediction to win, I think, based off the fact that he's polled in more games this year than the other one who's tied. I definitely think it'll be Cripps or Dacos, definitely. I think Heaney will be up there. It will be up there, but thanks to his suspension, he'll be ineligible, obviously. Because I'm leaning more towards Cripps, because even though Dacos has had more, we predicted had more free vote games, I highly doubt that this predictor is not going to be what it is, most likely. So yeah, more than likely. And also who polls in the most games as well. But I think for me, the two games that Cripps played, where he single-handedly bet West Coast, and the game where he almost got them over the line against St Kilda, I think those 2 games are going to be enough for Cripps to become a dual Brownlow medalist. I think Dacos will come close, but I don't think it'll be a tie. I don't think it'll be a tie. I'll be shocked if it is, but I think Cripps might snatch it once again at the very last match. Would snatch it, I think, for me, in that one. How many votes? I don't know, but yeah. But anyways, about that. So that's pretty much it for this video, really. So yeah, so like this video, share this to anybody, share this to anybody who is obviously who's a fan of the players players like Patrick Cripps and Nick Dacos, that sort of stuff. Comment down below who's your tip to win the Brownlow medal, and if you're watching this after the count, then just still leave your predictions in the comments still, and say if you got it right or wrong. I would love to hear what your predictions were, and if you got it right or wrong, got it right or not. And one last thing, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is labeled subscribe. It really does help me out quite a bit there. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and enjoy the Brownlow medal count for 2024. It's going to be, of course, a one big night.